Just give me a sec.
Yeah, but started, got a Republican governor. Oh, she gets a little pressure. She has that. I don't know what her problem is. It's like all of a sudden she just throwing up her hands and said, I've had enough. I'm out of here.
That's the only.
Up, we have one online. Let me get my notes. Okay, sorry about the delay.
Ready?
Yes.
Good evening, folks. Thanks for coming. We're at 6:03. We'll start the meeting, call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gotta love him. Oh, before we approve the agenda, I'd like to make one change to it. If we have time tonight, we'll discuss a little bit, not make any decisions. We can't make decisions, but we might discuss the settlement agreement that the Board of Supervisors and the Salt Creek two are in negotiations with. And that concerns the public hearing that they're gonna be holding on September 8th, Monday, September 8th. That would be at the number 8A or 8B, if we get that far tonight. Anybody have an objection to that, or? I gave you all copies of it, but I know you haven't had time to look at it.
Oh.
All right. Could I ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I mean, we approve the agenda.
A second.
Yep.
Sorry, was that Carol?
Yes.
So it's been moved and seconded to approve our agenda. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Approve our previous minutes. We've got a lengthy minute if you want to look through them, if you haven't had a chance to yet.
Sorry, it was a 2-pager. You guys had a lot of discussion last week at the end, so I tried to include pertinent points. The video will eventually be online. I'm having a little delay because new computer system, so it will eventually be online. It's not there yet.
Guess I did entertain a motion to approve the previous minutes if you've had a chance to look at them.
I move that we approve the minutes. I'll second.
Then moved and seconded to approve our previous minutes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Opening remarks by our administrator.
Alright, like I was saying, as you're getting set up, I do have a lot of documents for you there. I have looked up, various, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different counties. Variance and cut costs that they charge for fees. I've included a Marshall County, their valuation for building permits. There's a printout from Buchanan County that I included if you want to try wording it different. Currently, our ordinance has all our fees listed out in the ordinance, so if we want to change anything, it's got to go through public hearing. And then recommendation of supervisors, another public hearing. The way that Buchanan and a couple others have it worded, you'll see on, one says Buchanan County. Part B, it says fees pertaining to permits and actions required by the ordinance shall be in accord with the schedule of fees as adopted by a resolution by the supervisors, and a copy of that schedule of fees will be in the zoning administrator, some say in the auditor's office, we could say both. I post our fees online as well, but that doesn't have to be in your ordinance. And then it just says what we're gonna charge fees for, then the supervisors can update as needed. Resolutions only require a vote and not a public hearing. But I put out 2 public hearings. They would take care of updating fees, so you wouldn't have to do that anymore. We could start off with an initial recommendation because it hasn't been updated as far as I know since 1998 when they created it. So we could word it that way. We could also send that, do public hearing to change it to wording to just say those offices have the fees. There are fees. We're just not listing them in the ordinance. And then I would also suggest sending a recommendation of what to update them to get them current, and then they can take it from there. I've included Monona County just because when I asked, they sent me the whole sheet instead of just a couple fees. There's a sheet that includes postage increases, because currently our Board of Adjustment, variance and cut requests, we have to send out, letters to everyone that has land within 1,000 feet of a change request for variance and a cut. Both of them get the letters. And then, postage has gone up. You can see, I mean, the website went all the way back to 1800s, but, since 1998, it was 32 cents. It just increased to 78 cents this last July. So it's more than doubled for postage. The next 2 sheets are public notice rates. So I've got the one listed for this year. They charge per cents per line for a certain size. It's a little hard to understand, but basically you can tell that it's practically doubled because I've got 2012, 2013 rates was the oldest that they would provide me. So if you look at, I think, 12 pico wide line is listed on the 2025 rates. If you match that to, say, a 10 point type, or I guess 12 picos is the third one in from the left, and then ordinance price. I mean, you can see it's gone up quite a bit. So it's just to kind of help you see where some of the costs have come in. I can give you some further, notes and recommendations later. Just some wind ordinance topic, suggestions for topics that I would like you guys to consider. I included that in some notes. Not for this meeting, but to consider for, future meetings. There was an update by the, Iowa legislature this summer that updated accessory dwelling unit laws. It'll be showing up in the Iowa code, I believe, when they update it in November. They usually update it in November. But if you guys want to just kind of read through this to get it in your head, so you're kind of familiar with it. Basically, the state is saying a county has to allow a minimum of 1 accessory dwelling unit on the same lot as a primary dwelling. There's stipulations about it has to be either half the size of the primary or 1,000 feet. I can't remember what greater minimum, something like that. But anyway, that's the basic. So we want to figure out some of the, if there's any additional ordinances we want to include with that, or how to update our own ordinance to be compliant with the state ordinance. So that's just for future meetings. That's not on tonight's agenda, but that's for future reference for you. If we do any public comments, we have that for later in the meeting. So if you guys want to keep notes, If you wanna take comments in the middle of your discussions, you're very welcome to, but that'll be up to most likely Doug as the chairman. So those are my comments.
Anyone, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I do have it in order where we start with the fees first and then do the wind energy discussion after the fees are set, just because I figure it'd be easier to knock that out because the wind can take tangents. So that was just a suggestion for order. So that's what I have included for your paperwork tonight.
You have our present fee schedule.
Oh, I emailed that to you guys. Let me
Oh, yeah, she did.
bring it up.
Possible to have a paper copy of it here.
I didn't get a paper copy. I can probably print one.
I appreciate that if you could.
Is there a reason that the fees are so low?
They haven't been updated since 19.
I mean, but even on these other counties, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars and you're charging $150. I'm going,
So,
really?
Our
What is this?
variance and our cup, our variance fee is $50 and our cup fee is $75. And our public notice fee currently is about $48.50.
Okay.
Not counting postage. I'm sorry.
That's ridiculous.
Let's see. Page.
I mean, I got it for somebody wanting to build a house or putting up a barn or a shed or something on their property is not gonna affect everybody else's property. I've got that. But these commercial things, no, this is ridiculous.
What you would want to put probably into the commercial ordinances as kind of as we did with the additional application fee and such. We can review other ordinances to see if they have additional conditional use permit fees for that type of a project, commercial project.
Another thing we need to add is, I know my road is going to pot. They need to, and I mean, we're talking holes. They need to, during construction, they need to repair and maintain the roads to the condition they were in before they started. I mean, that bridge, that first bridge on 210th Street, which is Crystal Cemetery Road, when you come off 63, there's like a dip this big before you, on the east side of the bridge. And then you get across the bridge and you go down a quarter mile and there's chuck holes like this. That road has just been, and then you've got the next mile and a half where there's a tower site. It's terrible. I mean, you can't hardly
I was gonna say, we'll invite,
drive through.
encourage public comment as long as it's on the subject we're talking about.
Totally.
Karen,
Totally. First off, thank you, three of you, for coming on Monday morning. God bless all three of you for being there and everything you said. And you did address low fees. Thank you. Roads. So it came up during Monday's meeting and then after, that there's nobody out there investigating or checking out these companies, that nobody's allowed to go out there. And that has come up at a couple of meetings. So Mark, afterwards, after the meeting Monday morning, Mark asked me, he said, is it true that nobody is going out there to inspect this work site? And I said, yes. And at that moment, it couldn't have been better. Casey walked in that door right there, just a handful of us. And he said, Casey, is anybody going out there to inspect this stuff? Mark and Casey said, no, nobody's going out there and we're not allowed to go out there.
Well, the sheriff would not probably be the one to do it.
County engineer.
County engineer could, but mostly for the road use agreement, because that was his deal, was the road use, and possibly for checking your road conditions, because that is part of the road use condition. Normally with building projects, the zoning administrator would be the one to go verify. But with the settlement agreement, which I believe you guys have a copy of, I will be looking for a lot more clarification on what they're allowing me to do, so that I don't cause issues legally for the county in breach of a settlement. But my feeling from reading the settlement that they agreed to is that the zoning administrator has zero jurisdiction to follow up on anything that may be out of compliance.
Do we have a copy of the first settlement
It's in your packet.
that's in here yet?
So when you just said that no one is checking the roads, they're not allowed to,
Oh, here.
so I didn't understand that.
Nobody can go into any of those sites. Nobody's checking the road.
Private constructions.
Oh, okay, so
I'm
you're
not even
not,
talking those,
I was
roads.
just
I'm
saying-
talking the county.
Oh,
roads. Yeah.
So are they allowed to look at our county roads? I'm just gonna say my road is fine. They have been actually doing a really good job with that, Pete. They put new gravel down, they filled in potholes, and I don't know why, but my road is good. They've been,
Probably because you're on the zoning committee.
I don't think they know that. I really don't think they know that.
Ben has been getting several calls about K Avenue, which is the alternative route, and he's doing nothing about it. What he is saying, including to Dean Yukon today, I'm looking into it.
Well, I do know when we called, so my husband called, well, after they put down, after Envirotech came through and they put down our road dust. They came through and with their grader and they graded our road.
Yeah.
And my husband was just, cause you know, it went up this year. It went up almost $200 for our road dust, our road control, dust control.
Yeah.
But he called the county. They said, well, the county said, we're not in charge of the roads right now. That is now whatever, next era, I guess.
Or whatever.
They're Blattner Energy. They're in charge of the roads. And my husband did go down and he raised some hell. And, you know, they said they were, you know,
When was that, Carol?
well, that would have been back in June.
Of this year?
Yes.
Cool, thanks for letting me know that.
Because it was in June when Envirotech finally got out because of all the rain and everything. They finally got out to put dust control down. And in my section of 220th, my neighbors and I are the only ones with dust control clear down to N Avenue. And supposedly whoever was in charge at Blattner at the site there, because the site's right on the edge of our road, they told their graders, you grade the whole road except for the two sections here because they road dust. Well, that grader just went on through. Did it destroy it? Not really. I mean, they kind of put some gravel over it, which just, more to just take my husband off, but then and I don't know if maybe it's because we complained about that other thing, the neighbor and I did, but they've kept our road really well. We've had new gravel. They've gone up and down with water when they cut down the dust. If they see me outside, they slow down at my house and they speed up past my house. So I don't know if I just complaining too much. I don't know. But,
What are you on, Carol?
220th.
She's a mile south
I am
of
on
mine.
the staging area road. So
Going that way or that way, west or east?
I'm east of them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So they've done, I can't complain now, and we've just got our second application and they've left that alone. So, I can't complain about our road. They've done a really good job with our road.
So what's good about that is that they have yours done, so they can't say that we're too busy. Yours is done.
And Joe, where you live from, Carol?
200, I'm a mile north on 210th Street, which would be Crystal Cemetery Road. And there's 2 Langenbaugh towers, there's sash towers on that road. And they're just tearing the heck out of that road.
That's 200, what?
210th from 63, well, actually all the way from K Avenue on. Cause there's towers going in there from K Avenue on to E.
That one goes over to Los's.
Yeah,
And I don't know about your road, but they just went through, and actually this was a good thing too. They went through and they widened it by grading off the.
oh no, they
ridges.
haven't done any of
They
that
haven't
on
done
mine.
that?
Oh, your road, I've been on,
Yeah.
just for,
I'm very glad they trimmed those ridges off because that's horrible when we get too much rain. With that water down.
yeah,
So now they've taken that off, which is nice, but
yeah, 220th is amazing, 210th. They haven't done anything, and my neighbor and to 600, what was it, $695 or whatever for dust control.
yeah.
They put it down, which would be Randy Lund, and then we put it down. We're the only two on that mile. And yeah, they went through
Graded it?
and graded it. And then, so there was a sign on the end of the road at the stop sign at F that, you know, no tower traffic beyond this point. There's a lot of those signs out. And it was there and now it's gone. Who took it down? I don't know. So I get rock trucks and everything else and they don't slow down. They're hammered down.
They've been slowing down around us and
No,
I don't know why.
maybe I need to stop at Blattner's office and I'll go race. I don't have a problem with it.
So,
because that road is awful.
Andrew's picking up the,
Oh, the
printouts of the.
payment
fee
time
schedule.
fees,
So those are for building permits, not for the, zoning or not zoning.
Has this been signed or no?
The,
The
the first one has,
first one had, this one, the first one has been.
July 28th.
This is the one Mark so proud of.
Yep.
Mhm. Gotcha.
So the printout there has, it's just reformatted a little, but it's the same thing that I sent you guys via email. So the ones where the rates are $30, 50 cents, 25 cents, 10 cents along the price line, that's our current cost, our current rate. So it's $30 minimum up to $1,000 for your estimated cost. After $1,000 and,
up to including 20.
let me pull this up. Okay, so I think that something got messed up when I printed it, but, so $0 to $1,000 is that $30 minimum. For each $1,000 or fraction thereof, up to $20,000 is 50 cents per thousand. And then after $20,000 for your estimate, for each additional $1,000 is another 25 cents per thousand. And then anything over 50,000 for each additional $1,000 is 10 cents per thousand. So you can see where it kind of adds up. So it's not like if you have a $50,000 estimate, you're only charged 10 cents a thousand. You're charged the $30 plus the 50 cents for the next 19,000 plus the,
So like it says here,
25.
$500,000 structure is $92.
yes.
Where's it say that?
On
The-
top of the, when you go clear to
Oh, I
the,
see it.
yeah, in the tiny print.
And also bottom left, it's got it again. That's the example of our current one. So $500,000, say house, you've got your $30 minimum, the next $19,000, you get charged $9.
So that's what these tower people are paying?
Yeah.
Yes.
So no,
Everything over $50,000 of each tower is charged the 10 cents. But this would also be like for a house. So some houses are 500,000.
I don't have a problem with this being for residential or the
Farmer.
residents of Tama County. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, the way the taxes are going up, more and more people have already said, I'm out of here. I can't afford this anymore, especially the elderly. They're going, and State House just hasn't passed that, where they're putting a moratorium on property taxes for 65 and older. Tama County's gonna squeeze itself right out of people. And I don't have a problem with these fees for residential or agricultural projects. When it comes to commercial, we need to jack it up and jack it up high,
For
just to protect the county.
for the residential, though, there has been inflation increase of 98%. So I, along the top part there, I guess for the middle part where it's highlighted, I included if we increased it by 50%, that's what the cost would be. So if it was a $500,000 structure, the building permit fee would raise from $92 to $138.
Like I said, I don't have a problem
And if we doubled it,
with the local.
to match.
Can we,
To match
Go ahead,
inflation,
sorry.
it would be increased from $92 to $184 for building permit. That would be for anything that's not a farm building.
Go
in
ahead.
other words,
Farm buildings don't have to pay
You
anything.
need to compensate for inflation, and before, like the first, the first $1,000, for the next so many $1,000, now, there's $200,000 or $300,000 for a house. But if we're charging the 0.1 cents, we're not keeping up with the inflation because the value went up. We're charging a lower rate actually. So it kind of needs to,
but can we stipulate commercial building permits are gonna be a lot higher than what agriculture or residential permits are? Or do they have to be all in one?
I think I have seen one that stipulated that there was additional building permit cost, but I don't know if it's per dollar or if it was just a flat fee per turbine.
So
I have to find that one
I
again.
guess the question is then, if I'm understanding you, is that, is there any laws, any codes, anything that would prevent us from having two
Right.
separate, like, here's your fees for if you're wanting to build just a house, or you're wanting to put up a barn or whatever, but if you're wanting to come in as a company and put up turbines, solar things, can there be a separate fee structure for that? Is there anything legally that would keep us from doing that?
Can't you accomplish that by, once you get over $1 million, you know, these commercial structures, anything commercial is gonna be multiple of
Right.
millions of dollars.
Right,
You
Right.
tax the shit out of that. I mean,
So
you just
there
tax-
shouldn't be
tax
any,
it.
there shouldn't be any legal thing
No.
against that.
No, it shouldn't be, and that makes sense, though, then if you have several $1 million worth, you're gonna pay more, or you
Right.
should pay more.
I have not seen anything in the code, but I also haven't looked specifically in the code.
We can recommend it, find out. I guess,
We
yeah.
recommend it, yes, and they could go through lawyers. If you wanna, if you want me to send it to the county lawyer, Brent Herron, I can do that. I'm not sure how busy he is lately.
There's a difference in how things are taxed, and, you know, with the grain bins compared to other.
And I get that, I just wanna make sure, like, and
that
I
only
agree, I think
is
that's a good way to do it, it just, it legally cannot be done, is there anything against all?
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what
We
I'm
know way
wondering.
they can discriminate against that, I mean, if you're gonna, because you may wanna build a $10 million house,
You want,
if you want to, that's fine, but you're gonna get taxed for it.
you wanna be specific about your definitions, because if people have home businesses, that would be considered commercial in some cases, if they're building a shop for their business. Which
But
they would still have
again-
to go
But we
through
don't
building.
care.
Yeah.
If we just charge X amount of dollars.
Right,
Yeah.
I
The
think,
tax.
Right. It's just that once it gets into the millions and millions, they're
I
gonna
think
pay
there's
more
two
because.
things together. We don't deal with tax here. Tax is totally assessor, it's not the zoning at all.
But permits,
Okay.
the permits, I'll take the.
I see where you're coming from now.
Just, yeah, for
We
your
can
permit.
Try
Get
it
your
to see
permit,
if
you
it
can,
gets through
you know.
legal. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's, like you're saying, I mean, if we don't wanna have two separate structures,
But it's
that-
not discriminatory at all, is it? I
Right.
mean, it's just.
No.
as
You just raise your rates as
And I
you get
guess-
higher.
I guess commercial really always should be a little bit more than
Yeah,
Well,
residential.
I mean, you could go back up again after, $50,000. If you hit $75,000, your rate goes back up for so many per thousand above 75,000.
I'm just asking these questions because this is
Or
unfamiliar.
make it 100,000.
Yeah.
Houses are pretty expensive.
So the other night, Monday night, I was at a meeting and Annette Sweetie and her husband were there and Mark gave us the floor to ask her questions and, she would not answer any questions that had anything to do with protection from the state level for all the things we've talked about, battery storage, eminent domain, nuclear, solar, wind. She would not address any. She wanted to talk about county fairs, state fairs, and American cream horses. And, when there was another gentleman and myself that were really trying to, just squeeze answers out of her one way or the other. And finally, she went and sat down and she and her husband left. That was not very encouraging. She would not give us any help.
The Republican Party meeting.
Oh,
So that was really discouraging.
Now, if she would have had a meeting of her own where they do it every town meeting, every so often, maybe she would have been more forthcoming, do you think?
No,
Nope.
Than her meeting? and
No,
not-
she answered, she answered exactly how she was told to answer. Questions.
Who was this? That-
Annette Sweeney. Afterwards, why didn't you nail her to the wall like you do me all the time? That I did, but she wouldn't answer any questions.
Get back to these fees.
We can't get
I
protection now.
I think this one area in the center probably looks pretty good on the bottom.
So that would be with a 50% inflation increase off our price. So that wouldn't even be with the matching the rate of increase from
Right, but that,
regular
Yes.
consumers. Which I'm fine with, that's why I included it.
the
was
size,
for you.
yeah. Cause the size of the project, is the basic, we've got a higher rate on just on the bottom end, which, you know, when you got a big project like that, it's only down here and then, you know, coming up here, you still got a percentage of it, and that one gets bigger, if the inflation brings it up big more, then your fees go up more. I mean, they stay with it. There's a certain percentage of it, no matter how much it gets inflated. So if it doubles in price because of inflation, your fees are gonna double too.
It's double.
Right, and they're gonna take with it. I don't think we need to jump way out. Because the costs that we have associated with doing the work go up. You know, I can see an increase like going up to that
You move the minimum to,
50% increase,
I
but
wouldn't do the
not,
minimum too, yes.
I would move the minimum by 30. How many?
I
Yeah, no, that's not, well, that's what I'm saying. I just think $30 is, I mean,
but who also builds $1,000 structure?
well, nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, we can't.
Doghouse.
Yeah.
You can also,
So what would be a fair fee? Let's just do one at a time.
One at a time.
Get something.
0 to 1,000.
well, I would maybe decide first if you want to include the fees in the ordinance, or if you want to go the route where we're saying there will be a fee. It will be determined by the supervisors in a resolution, and the fee will be on file with the auditor and the zoning administrator.
I like that.
The fee would be whatever the current,
It would
Okay.
be with the supervisor, and then separately, you guys can send what your recommendation would be to update it. But it wouldn't be part of our ordinance hearing change.
Well, now this is within, well, not just wind and solar, this is total.
This is everybody, this is all building.
Total Tama County ordinance, well, I do like having it in the zoning,
Because in the solar one, we said there were fees as listed in the main zoning ordinance, so if you updated that, you wouldn't have to update all the other ones.
So we would never, if we just had this, so let me, I just wanna make sure I'm understanding, so if we don't want this in the ordinance, because we wanna be able to update this whenever, then we wouldn't have to update the ordinance, because that would just say, see the fee schedule.
Well, we'd
Is that
have
what you're
to,
saying?
we'd have to update the ordinance once to change it from having it listed spelled out to
Right.
saying there's a fee. That'll be one update. Any future fee updates would not have to go through an ordinance change.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yes.
Okay, yep,
So, I mean, you guys could still review it and send recommendations to the supervisors for the fee, but it would not go through the ordinance changing process.
because the ordinance would just say, look at the fee schedule.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or the supervisors could do it all on their own without, you know, if we're working on other ordinances at the time, without you guys researching what current fees are.
so
So I would first decide if you wanna have them spelled out in the ordinance, or if you wanna have it saying, we'll have a fee for this type of thing. The actual cost is held in a separate,
Yet to be determined.
well, the actual cost is held in the auditor's office. That could be our update to the ordinances, to pull it out specific, so that down the line, 15 years later, the next board's not going, damn, they didn't update that since 2025.
Yeah.
Well, and if you write a good enough ordinance, there's really, if you protected yourself, you don't have to do much changing, other than, you know, if codes have changed and things like that.
Yeah, state law changes enough,
Right.
but yeah, as far as cost updates, I mean, that will change with inflation and with other.
I like having it in the code because it isn't gonna change on a whim.
Right.
It's written out there, if you lower the code, you can see what it is. And you get a supervisor in and the wind blows this way and then the wind blows that way and this way, it's in there.
Okay.
And it is a percentage, and as the values of things go up,
Inflation is partly taken care of,
yeah. and
but is it at the right ratio today?
Except for the
Right.
the bottom one, like you said, that could be $30 at the bottom end.
And
That
I,
could be,
if you do want it spelled out in there, I don't know if you want any stipulation for, you know, if they need to verify what their estimated cost is, because currently they just put what their estimated cost is on the application, and I don't have a way to tell if they're blowing smoke up my butt.
yeah, I was very lowballing or
Yeah,
for real.
so I don't know if you want some type of building estimate to be included.
Third party?
I don't know if you need to go that far, I mean, you're trying to save costs for people, but if they already have a contractor, I mean, they'd
They
have.
should have an estimate. All right.
That's just a suggestion if you wanna consider adding that too. I mean, we can keep going the way we have been, if you wanna have it spelled out like you said, so it can't change on a whim. I was just trying to give you guys options.
it is,
So-
yeah, if it was just one solar and then you got another one here, another, and then it's all over, but this is the total Tama County zoning ordinance, it's part of that.
Yep, and it would apply to solar and wind.
Right,
As well.
and it,
Applies to everything.
we could still go in and change that one, and we could have a meeting and to update the ordinance and still address that, and then it's taken care of everywhere.
So yeah, if we leave it in there, it would always have to go through, the next time it would still have to go through the double public hearing, plus your guys's.
So in other words, basically what you're saying is it would be fees collected at the current posted or whatever.
Right, or the way Wade wants it is to have it just updated with the costs in the ordinance,
Which
so
is the way
keep
it
it
is.
listed, but just update the costs. And if you wanna cut out a rate, if you don't wanna have three different rates, or three different tiers, you could do that. If you wanna add another tier for higher commercial projects, you could do that.
I would go along with that. If we-
Cause yeah, currently our top tier is that 10 cents for anything over $30,000. Anything additional over $30,000.
$30,000, this says $50,000.
Oh, shoot, I was reading that, sorry. Oh, yeah, 50,000
And that doesn't go, I mean,
is
that's,
the 10, if it's over 50,000.
you're at 50,000 in a big hurry.
It's,
Yeah,
it's the 10 cents per thousand. So if you wanna add another tier, like if you're expecting most, houses would likely be built at this, below this threshold. Anything above that, you could have at a higher rate again. Cause a little, I just have to add a line of Excel formula.
You don't wanna stop somebody from building $1 million house because they're gonna get property tax.
right, right.
Yeah, this is gonna stop it.
It's like to stop it.
This is peanuts if you can afford $1 million house.
This is a revenue generator. This is just to cover our costs on the cost
Yeah.
that we have.
And this is a one-time,
Mhm.
Yep, building permits are a one-time fee.
it's a
Right.
one-time fee, it's not
Cost of doing the work to
every year.
do that. But
So we can pick whatever percentage you want. I just gave the, 50% increase and 99% increase to match inflation. But those are just examples. So if you want to try different things, I've got the formula put in here.
What is,
Test out.
I like the one in the bottom, the 50%. That
what,
Yeah,
this top structure, is that what we have now? And what was the date on
Yeah,
that?
The top one
this
is
is
what we have now.
right?
It's the same as what's on the bottom left.
Okay, but when was the last,
I'm pretty sure it hasn't been updated.
since,
1998 when it was created. Cause, last time I looked, that was in the original printout.
so in other words, if you're talking inflation and we're going 27 years and compounded annually, just what it's gonna be more than 50%.
Well, this goes up, though, because this is a percentage of the total cost.
cost, yeah.
No, I know, but I'm just saying 50%, is that gonna cover that?
Is that enough?
That's what I'm saying, is that enough?
My spreadsheet added dollar signs. If you look above the bottom right where it says those web addresses.
Yep, I got it.
59.46, that's actually percentage, not a dollar amount. So it was 59.46% inflation increase since, June of 1998 to July of 2025. Is 59.46. Two separate,
About 60%.
references said the exact same amount of inflation for
About
last.
60%.
So there, you have a total of $60, the minimum fee would be $60 on that one then, is that what you're saying?
But this is like the sales tax. If inflation goes up 200%, we're gonna
Right.
get sales tax up 200.
Well, this 59.46 is closer to 60% than 50%.
Yeah, so if you look, that bottom right square, it did add dollar signs, and I apologize.
Yeah.
I didn't proofread that before I printed
Got
it.
it.
But that, yeah, so I rounded up to 60%, and so that would be going from our, in that bottom right box, current
Yeah.
ordinance, $30, next tier is 50 cents, next tier is 25 cents, last tier is 10 cents.
So it's 100%
So
more.
if you increase it by 60%,
No, it's 100% markup. If you go from $30 to $60, that's 100% markup. 50% markup would be $45. So your $60, which is the 59.46, which is 60%. So
I lost my mark.
if current is 30 and 60 is where you're going, that's 100% markup. Which is, I mean, if that's what the current,
I think I
Money's
put
up.
in the calculator, if it was $30 in 1998, what is it currently?
Yes,
And that's what it gave me, was 59.4. That's what, it was,
and that's the $60 for the $59.
59.46.
46.
And so it's just
60
around
$60.
G60. So yeah, there's the usinflationcalculator.com. You can put in the year you want and the month you want. Of like, I paid $30 for something in 1998. How much would I pay for it these days? And it would have been 59.46.
Well, $60, so it's a 100%
Yeah,
markup.
it's 100%. Like 90 is 98%.
27 years, that's about right.
That's about right, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that's why I included the 98% markup to the far right, highlighted, and then
But it's,
50% markup in the middle, just so it wasn't such a huge shock for people.
that's a tax rate that is a flat thing, because if the value of the house goes up 200%, the rate you wanna change, you don't wanna double it and double it again. You know, like
This is a one-time
This is a
fee.
one-time fee though.
Right.
This is not,
So that's
this
not
is
gonna
not,
be affected.
it's not an annual, yeah.
Right.
So I,
Well, if this last 100% markup gets us current valuation, that ought to be a good place to start.
that's
Yes.
exactly what I would say too.
Yep.
So wait, if you built your house back in 1998, you're not gonna be paying this building fee because you're not building. It'd only be if you added an addition. So,
Right. Whatever
so
you're,
you're not paying anything else.
So you're saying this one over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you think, I mean, the $60.
That reflects 100%.
I don't think that that's gonna impact any way from not building, so
So,
if that does, they shouldn't build it anyway.
So yeah, that 59.46 was if I put $30 into the calculator for 1998, what it would be today is a 98% markup.
So do you move that up every year? Do you put an inflation clause right in it right away?
I'm not sure how you would do that. You'd have to go back and you'd have to change the ordinance every year to have your.
put a COLA on it.
But yeah, just put a COLA on it. That's be very easy.
What?
Cost of
Cost of
living,
living.
COLA.
hell,
Yeah.
Just put that every year to be refigured with COLA, whatever inflation, however,
Is it?
it's just something that has to be
Find
done.
enough dollars here that it's gonna make any difference.
Yeah,
Probably not a yearly change, no.
5 years
Okay, if you could do it every, yeah, maybe, you know, cause I
or every,
do it every year, it would be a pain.
pain.
every 2
But
years.
to do it every 5 years or 10
The
years.
supervisors did a resolution style every year. That wouldn't be that bad for them because it would just be resolution. But if we're putting it spelled out in the ordinance, that is a lot to go through because we've got public notice, we've got your guys' time to come in and review it. And
Every time it goes up, it has to go through the zoning board, or just would it be an automatic thing?
anytime we would increase, if we're spelling it out in ordinance, anytime we would change that cost, we would need to have it go through.
Even
that
though it would be spelled out in the ordinance that
Well, cause
say even every 5 years? I don't know, that's
I mean,
my
if we're,
newbie coming through.
if we're spelling it out, that means we're putting specific rates in there. So it'd be like in 1998, they put in specifically $30 minimum, next year's 50 cents, next year's 20 cents, next year's 10.
But those are specific numbers. If you would put an arbitrary, like a COLA in there, would it
Adjusted
make any
every 5
difference?
years.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah, every
5
5.
You don't wanna wait 27 years again. That's what's.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. I
Well,
would say every
you are
5.
supposed to be
Yeah.
reviewing every ordinance every 5 years. It just hasn't happened.
So that would do it if we
But that's, yeah,
said, we're
that's,
gonna,
I think, you know, we need to adjust it periodically to keep up with inflation, but not to, to do it every year, maybe it's a little.
So when we update it this
So,
time,
If we're talking $1,000 for the county for a year, I mean, I don't know what that is, I don't know what the numbers are.
when we update it this time, if we are spelling it out, I would put in a, sentence that says dates current as of, fall 2025, because who knows how long it'll take to get through that. Let's say fall 2025.
Mhm.
Recommended to update costs by,
well, 30.
or by 20, by 2030. You could say July
And following
2030,
that,
fall
every
2030,
5 years
yeah.
after that, or?
But I
do we
mean,
have
at
to
least
put
for the next time, you would have a recommended time to update, so if anybody's reading this, like the next supervisor, the next board, or the next zoning administrator, if I'm not here, you're like, oh, yeah, we should get that updated. But yeah, I would throw in, if we're gonna have it specific, which you guys, I'm fine with, if we're gonna have it specific though, I would throw in that sentence that says, costs reviewed and updated as of fall 2025, recommended to be reviewed and updated again for cost of inflation as a, at least by 2030.
Every 5 years.
Yeah.
That's-
But just so you have the date of when you had reviewed it, because
Right.
sometimes these updates don't always have the
One-
revision date
Well, like.
for a specific change.
27 years.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, so the only way I know that is because I have the printout for the original 1998 and it said the same thing.
It may have been longer than that,
Who knows? I have not looked for the previous version of zoning. So yeah, if you guys wanna go with that middle rate, if you don't wanna go with the actually catching it up to inflation now rate, somewhere in the middle, you can pick whatever number you want.
But the one way to the right, most reflective of the cost of inflation since 1998, right?
Yes.
From as a change percentage, like, so what people were paying as a percentage in 1998, that would reflect most accurately what people are doing compared to what they build now, yeah.
So to understand, a 500,000 building would be at $184. Is that,
For a building permit fee, yeah.
Yeah.
That's still not out of line.
no. Oh,
Heck,
And that's for a $500,000 rate, so like if there's see, I think I've got my numbers in here,
The other
so,
thing's on $500,000 doesn't buy a mansion anymore either.
so I mean, say what, give me a number for a building cost, like if you're building a garage or an addition.
Garage or an addition is probably gonna be 75,000.
So over 50, that'd be 25. Your building permit fee would be $99
That's.
if we went with that highest rate on
Under
it.
$100.
that's right.
Yeah. It's too cheap. Maybe. I don't want to discourage people from building either, but I don't want,
I don't know, we built with Legos in second grade, so
I,
yeah.
I do
we don't
also
know anything about inflation.
have a suggestion. A couple other counties have mentioned that they have added, I don't know when they added it, but they added a caveat that if construction begins before they get the required permit, that the building permit cost doubles.
Say that again, if they what?
If they begin construction
Before the building permit?
before they request a permit,
How
the
can they
building
do
cost
that?
doubles. They don't think they need one, or they think they can get away with it and not have to pay one.
People do it all the time.
People do it
Yeah.
all the time.
People
And not
do it all the
even
time.
just our county, every county you hear it's like, oh, well, we owned our property in the country. We didn't
Well-
need the building permit.
Okay, I'm guilty of that, not building anything, but I didn't know that. When I first got into this, I didn't know that.
So,
My dad was,
I put my
Building
first
things
grant bin up and I.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah.
a general population, not a commercial situation. You're talking
I'm talking
general,
any person.
anybody,
Anybody.
okay, all right, gotcha.
Well, doubling it is still only $360.
Yeah.
Right? I still don't have, I don't have,
$5,000,
I
yeah.
don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
No.
And
Yep, yep.
like grain bins do still need a conditional use permit per our ordinance, but other farm buildings, like if it's for farm storage, it has to be a farm use. You can't just say,
Agricultural use.
I'm storing stuff. It's gotta be farm storage or farm use. Those do not get charged a building permit fee. So this is strictly for dwellings,
residential, basically.
but it's still outside of corporate limits. I don't have any say over cities.
Well, that's what I'm,
I don't see a problem with doubling it if they begin construction before they get the permit, cause it puts some teeth into it, and you might collect a few more by that way.
So,
Cause we know there's a lot of stuff built out there that
and
doesn't-
yeah, that might get more people.
gets
to-
under the radar. you
Yeah,
know?
so and then if they're unsure if they'll have to pay it or not, they'll still send it in. We can review it, get it on file and just say, yeah, you're good to go.
What did
Thanks,
anybody
no
else
fee.
think of that?
But
We got-
getting them to send their permit in, cause if it's not a farm building, they're subject to your setback requirements. And if they start building and they go outside of those setback requirements, are we going to require them to tear it down? I mean, some counties require that. Because currently, if you're gonna be within your setback limits, you have to go get a variance from the building adjustment for.
I would need it, I think.
But if they get charged double the building permit fee for not coming to get it, that might prevent them from building outside of spec.
A lot of it is you just don't know any better.
Is there a way to
Ignorance.
publish this? I mean, once it gets,
Recommendation on the.
you know, just say,
Ordinance change has to be published in the newspaper, yes, but,
I like, I would say, even that.
I mean, if we wanna pay for the shopper.
Got it.
what's their big charge? I don't
I
know.
don't think they have public notice rates at the shopper, so.
I just did a 2x2 for $75. And it covers every single paper.
Yeah,
In
everybody
Tama
has the
County.
shopper, so. But I know Bob put out one that said, remember, you need to get a fee. I know the one, let's see, there are at least two other times that I have found records of where they posted a newspaper notice that said, you need to get your building permit.
So,
So,
get back to that, do we have an agreement that gonna go like with the last
We need to make a
one
motion.
year?
The last one.
Yeah, and that is gonna be just, that's a change to our general ordinance now.
Right.
so you guys want to update to be a $60 minimum with the dollar for the first, or for the next $19,000 up to.
Yeah, whatever that last column is.
And then 50 cents for the next tier and 20 cents for the next tier. You're
Yeah.
good with all those, okay. So
That's pretty basic.
does someone want to make a motion with all those numbers?
I make a motion that we utilize those fees
I'll second it.
and then we schedule.
Okay. So a motion by Steve, second by Jody.
Been moved and seconded to accept the far right cost estimation there, which reflects the inflation, correct?
If you want to add the extra fee for starting construction before getting a building permit, that would need to be a second.
Let's make that a second motion, right? Separate motion?
I'll move that we,
No, we gotta pass.
we gotta vote on
Is
first.
there any more discussion on the first,
Okay,
on the motion on the floor?
right.
Any more discussion?
The only thing is, what about the 5 years? Is that will be.
Gotta be another one.
Too.
Ooh, we should include that
You
probably.
could revise your motion to say with the stipulation of the date of the revision and the date of the next review.
That's exactly what I did.
Modified by Steve. Do I get a second on that by Jody?
I'll second it.
Okay. Modified. All right.
So it's been moved and seconded to adopt those fees as well as mentioning that the costs were as of fall of 2025 and should be readdressed in fall of 2030, correct? 5 years later.
Yes.
Is there any more discussion on that motion? Not? All approved, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Now, if we entertain a motion to, if we want to do that, double the fee if they start their construction before their permit.
Is that in there now? Or
No, it's not in there now. Because other counties do
Okay.
have one. Not every county, but some counties do have it, and they said that has helped. You don't have to double, you could do like,
Do we wanna make that automatic, or could it be at the discretion of the zoning administrator? Maybe there was some issue or problem, like
Well, some mitigating
contractor
circumstances.
came a month earlier than what you thought he was coming, or
I would hope the contractors know that you need a building permit, but,
is that?
But you would-
Be automatic.
try to add a caveat if you want.
It's just that we're getting to, maybe we're getting in the weeds a little bit,
Okay,
you know,
but that's,
I don't know, that's just my thought, I just not, you know,
It's not like it's $1 million fee.
it's not a big, you know, it's not.
It's another $184.
Yeah.
500,000.
yeah,
Bill.
that's what it looks like, if it's construction started before.
Cause I mean, right now, if I hear of someone building, I have to plan to go out and review it and
Right.
talk to them and see. what the
Yeah,
plan
there's
is
extra work involved, so.
and verify that what I'd heard is true. And then possibly send a letter if I can't talk, so yeah, there's more cost involved.
Is there, yeah, and to do that, like you hear so many buildings have been on private property, you can't just, can you just walk in there or do you have to have?
If there's a zoning certificate out there, in the ordinance, it says that I can visit any construction site with a zoning certificate. If they have not built or not gotten a certificate, that's more just visiting. So,
You could write it.
so I can't go like walk across the property and measure
Well,
stuff, but I could go up to their door and, you know.
The assessor has the right to come out and review property.
Yeah, so I could ride along with you.
Which is
So when the assessor does that and then they see something that hadn't been, have a permit for, right?
Yep, and so when the assessor goes around and they see something that I haven't sent them as a zoning certificate, they let me know and then I have to follow up on that.
Well, I move that if instruction begins before the fees are paid or permitted, receives that the fees are doubled.
A second.
I moved and seconded to charge double the fee if the building begins construction before getting a permit. I think I said that right. Any discussion? Any more discussion?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So what is the minimum cost that that a building permit is not needed? And then there's a lot of temporary buildings being hauled down the highways now that are going out to farms. Are building permits?
They're, I think if they're movable, they're portable, they don't
Portable.
fall under this.
If the structure is greater than 120 square feet, it requires a building permit. And I believe that includes if it's on skids. I don't believe it's considered if it still has wheels and an axle. So if it's a mobile home that has wheels, or if it's a semi-trailer that has wheels, I don't believe that counts. If it's a storage container, even if it's on skids, that would count as needing a building permit.
If it's over 30 by 40, 120 square
If
feet.
it's over 120 square feet.
That's only 10 by 12. That's not very
Or 10
big.
by 12, yeah.
That's like a dog house.
Is that fairly?
Garden shed.
I don't know when they would have updated that. That's in our ordinance though.
We better finish this motion. We've got this motion and discussion, and all in favor say aye on this doubling.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Those things they live in that were on wheels, like those sheds that the sheep herders had.
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah. Yes.
So does that take care of number 6, Laura, on our agenda?
Nope, that takes care of number 7. Zoning certificates. Number 6 is the special use or conditional use permit and variance request fees if someone requests that of the Board of Adjustment to have a meeting. That is where we currently have the $50 charge for variance request and a $75 charge for a conditional use permit. Those all require public notice in 2 papers and letters sent out. So that's what the publication fee information and the postage information was. And also that was the sheet I gave you with the nearby counties, what they currently charge. So at the very least, I would suggest doubling
No.
to match. I mean, only one county that responded to me was as low as what double would be for our cost. The next was if it was 150 for each, I would suggest having it the same for each, because it's the same amount of time for the board to come, and if we pay mileage, it's the same amount of public notification, it's the same amount of mailing,
We're now currently at 50 and 75,
50 and 75.
50 being for the variance
Yep,
and 75 for the cup.
yep. So the highest was Powashik County, which is a neighboring county, they charge $350 for each. The $350 for variance or $350 for a cup. They also have a couple of the counties also have a rezoning request fee or a Board of Adjustment appeals fee, which we do not have either of those yet.
You wanna be consistent with Marshall County and be 200.
Idea.
I'd say that'd be more, probably less of a shock than being consistent with Powashik County.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a variance fee? I mean, what are we talking? because
So
I
to
just,
That's
apply
all
for
right.
variance, before I can send out all the mailing, they need to pay this fee, with their application request for a board of adjustment meeting.
That's what a variance is, all right? Basically.
tell me,
Oh, so a variance would be if you wanted to build something that's outside of the regulations in the ordinance. So say our setbacks are, you have to have 20-foot side yard and you want to add on to that direction and only go with a 15-foot side yard, that would be a variance. If you want to have a taller structure than is allowed in your district, that would be a variance.
I just wanted to make, I thought that's what it was, but I thought I'd better. get
Versus
this straight.
conditional used to be as if, certain businesses wanna conduct business or use their property for something other than what's allowable in their zoning district.
Right,
So that'd be a conditional use permit versus the variance is more consistent with the building issue. Usually, I'm trying to think if there's any variances that are not building.
And in the middle, if you went 200 to 200.
And Blackhawk probably had this.
What are we presently doing with the rezoning or an appeal? Nothing? Charge in Tama County?
So if someone wanted to come and ask you guys to rezone something, either if it's section or, spot zoning is very frowned upon, but they could still request it. That would be like, we'd still have to have a public hearing if you decide to change a zoning district. So that would be notification and that would be mailing.
But just rezoning an area. We've done that before, haven't we, in the past?
I believe
Before
I
you've been
found
on.
notes that the Mid-Iowa got rezoned as commercial. And the
FF.
Van Wall got rezoned as commercial.
Oh, that was the
FS.
they were-
And the
Evans did not get rezoned.
No, but that came up. I remember that came up.
It came up, and since nobody had updated the maps, you can't tell that they've got rezoned, so I need to work on updating maps, but I do have Board of Adjustment and zoning board and Board of Supervisor meeting minutes that say those zoning changes were approved for Mid-Iowa and, Van Wall, which I don't know that commercial is the correct one for Mid-Iowa, with the grain bins, but that's beside the point. All three of them, I believe, are taxed. However, the assessor wants to tax it, so if you change zoning, it doesn't have any effect on how much they pay for taxes. The zoning affects what they can do with their property as far as setbacks, as far as requiring screening, as far as what they can do on the property, so, like certain businesses even can't be done on commercial, they can only be done on industrial. Or certain, you know, if you're industrial, you need to have tree screening or something like that. So, the zoning that you guys deals with what they can do with the land, not how much they're taxed or anything. That's totally separate valuation,
But this is a permit that Blackhawk must use as a $200 rezoning request.
plus $10 per acre.
well, the difference with Blackhawk is there you've got, they're expanding, so you've got residential going into farm.
All the
ground,
time.
so-
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Buchanan and Monona counties both have a cost if you request an appeal to the Board of Adjustment, which would still require the public notice and the mailings. So they have a separate charge, which technically, we don't have that charge in our ordinance at all. We only charge for variance and a cut.
I don't know.
So-
What do you guys think?
I don't know that there's been appeals much until the whole wind issue.
What's the, I mean, if there's no rezoning request, what are we gonna, I mean, what are they appealing? They didn't get a variance? Is that what the,
If the appeal would be, if I made a decision saying, I'm not issuing you a building permit because our ordinance says this. They could appeal my decision to the Board of Adjustment and try to get my decision overturned, which they have the authority to do that. But I mean, I don't have the authority to say, yeah, we're gonna waive the ordinance for this. That would have to go through the Board of Adjustment. So it can be both ways. I can deny it, you can still go to the board and get approved. Or I can deny something, they go to the board and the board is like,
stays with you?
I agree with the interpretation of the ordinance. So I mean, I've seen appeals go both ways.
You're gonna have more rezoning requests though, aren't you?
I don't know.
Appeals.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll have many of either. I don't know the last time we had a rezoning request.
Keep them high enough that you don't get.
What's one of the.
Yeah, so I don't know,
We didn't want to rezone, you know, we wanted to try to keep ag and
Right,
keep the commercial in the already zoned commercial area.
I did see a note about, yeah, there had been a meeting where someone requested to change it to residential for a subdivision and the zoning board denied it because they wanted to keep it ag. But then, you know, they also bring it saying we want to change them in Iowa to commercial. You know, so they can do different stuff with their land, then, and you guys approved it as commercial, which I don't know who all was on the board back then. Were you on it back
And
then?
that was CSR had to do with some of that, like, I can remember one that was a rezoning request,
For the residential?
you know, it could be residential and you know, ICSR area, not really necessary there.
So I don't necessarily know that appeals would be appealing your guys' decision, it'd be more appeals would be appealing my decision. As an administrator,
maybe we should just stick with the,
stick with the
Variance
variance.
on the cup.
Okay.
you wanna make, someone on there, make a motion to follow suit with Marshall counties?
I move that we follow suit with Marshall and do 200 and 200.
Second.
So the moved in second for our county variance and cup charges to be in line with Marshall County, which is 200 and 200. Is there any discussion? Any more discussion?
Do we need to have a dollar figure on the rezoning request or appeal? Do we need to go out that far or?
Just
Just-
do that in another one, yeah.
Oh, okay,
You can, yeah, you can review that later, I just threw it in while we were talking other costs.
all right. Good enough.
Any more discussion?
The variance in the cup.
All in favor, say aye.
All
I
right.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
think it'd be good down the road to address those, though.
Okay, so that takes care of number 6. We did number 7 already. So that covers anything with cost. We will need to have a public hearing to cover these. I will work on the wording of the ordinance change. Do you want to wait and see what I come up with for change, or since it's just strictly changing the numbers in here, bring you a copy at the public hearing and we decided we need to have a second public hearing and change anything? I mean, I have your numbers, I can.
That'd be adequate, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, a public hearing for industrial solar was not that big of a deal, so we incorporated that into a meeting. So we ought to be able to do that with this, I would think.
Okay, so, I can, get that updated for the next meeting. But we're only changing that part of the main ordinance, because that is the big one. We'll do our public hearing and, see how that goes. We'll work on setting dates at the end, so if you guys wanna move on, or if you wanna take a break before we move into wind.
What's the board feel like? Keep it moving or keep moving? How
Do you
about
wanna
you?
get wind comments before we start, or do you want comments till the end?
Maybe get them beforehand. Any comments out there concerning the wind ordinances? You're welcome to speak up. We're gonna update our wind ordinance and in lieu of all the things that are going on in the county north of here, I would invite any kind of comments or opinions. We'd be glad to hear
Didn't really come prepared, because I didn't know exactly what the meeting tonight was about. I knew they said something about that, but when you get into the wind, you gotta do it very similar to what you done on the solar. The CSR needs to be in there, and the land use agreement, the 60 CSR, all needs to be in there. And then just go from there. A lot of these fees and stuff could be just, we're the same, you know? I don't know whether the setbacks, you have to get some setbacks,
different.
a little different. But other than that, you could probably use a lot of the same stuff for the wind ordinance, I would think. Cause you've already went through a lot of that.
Thank you, Al.
What we got going out here is more of a problem because it's okay in a questionable manner and the court, when it said that was a legal permit, so we're kind of stuck. And that's the one thing that I kind of mentioned, you know, it sounds like nobody has any right to go out there and do anything, and maybe it's because of the agreement that the supervisors made. But if you're gonna have a regulation that says this in your, such a thing in there that, let's just say the roads have to be kept up during construction, then you have to put in there that somebody has the right to go check in and give them the authority and give them an authority to fine or whatever. So you need to say that whoever you want to pick
Right.
has the authority to go out there and look at the roads and determine if it's following the ordinance. If not, that you have to put in there something about the sheriff has the ability to go and fine the company for whatever they're doing or get it fixed. Evidently, there's no way that in the current one that we got, what we have currently, there's nothing in there that they can do as far as enforcing anything that's even sensible. So
You know,
you have to give the authority to somebody
right,
to go out there and enforce any regulation. So it could be maybe a separate section. And I ain't sure what you got in this one. Have you got a place, I thought you put it in, where somebody can go out and enforce whatever regulation? I think you got it in yours.
In the solar.
solar.
Yeah.
Solar, yes.
Right, so that needs to be in the wind too. Maybe it isn't now and we're stuck.
Right.
That needs to be in the future. Because this is a travesty to tear up this much good farmland. I'm very thankful that you worked very hard and did the solar, because I hate to see 160 acres go down like that. It's bad enough to have 2 or 3 acres here and another 2, 3 acres.
Or
So, I don't know. Just do the same job you get on this one. I think you done a wonderful job.
thank you.
Any comments?
I do have one about eminent domain. You know, that's my biggest concern, because I've got neighbors that are actually putting up the phase 2. And I'm concerned that they'll have to come through. And because I've had pipelines come through already, you know, from before, and I'm not really,
Crazy about it.
yeah.
The project map for Salt Creek 2 is available in the auditor's office. It does show where their planned access lines are, and anyone that should have those should already have an easement expressing that they'll have those. So hopefully that went right. What's your name?
Probably shot.
Sorry, how do you spell your last name?
HUSAK.
That's what I was guessing, but I didn't want to screw it up.
She hasn't been around the Bohemians long enough.
I lived by Kuchar all my life, but up here in Flushing was an
That's right. That's-
Trouble is, you change towns, they
What else is saying?
now it's different. Pippers, peepers.
There's no H. I know that.
We-
It's just about this.
I think the eminent domain is something that this board is very conscious about.
Okay, I just wanted to.
I'm glad you did. We addressed it in the solar, didn't we?
Yes.
The eminent domain could not be used to allow any industrial solar to be built in Tama County. And I'm sure we will address it.
We intend to follow that same logic on the
When,
wind.
I think one of the things I never mentioned before, but, you know, we at decommissioning, we were pretty good with the solar, and we had a pretty strong decommissioning. And you look around the countryside and the farm fields that have old railroad right-of-ways that went through them, and they're just grown up to brush and bit and hills, and it just, you know, chopped up some beautiful fields. And if they'd have had a decommissioning back in those days, I hated to see the railroads go myself back.
me too.
But when they pulled out, and then it just got left like that,
They never thought they'd leave.
no. And you go to,
When they were built, they never
go
built.
to,
Trails are really nice that they've converted.
True.
But they haven't done that ever.
And it makes a nice place to hunt for some people.
Boy,
It's
you're
about the only place left for.
in China, they're building railroad, and we're tearing them down, but still to leave, there are places that are just ugly. Out in some.
If you go between Elbert and Vining, go from Elbert to Vining and you go around that sharp curve there within the mile. You can still see in a dry year where the corn is just really pulled down where the railroad bed used to be. I mean, you could try to put it back, but it's tough to,
Never the same.
no. Just like the ground around these industrial solars and industrial wind turbines, that ground is never gonna be the same.
As far as the decommissioning of the windmills, I wanna make sure that the county doesn't have any liability in it. Said that over and over. Now, if the owner of the land that this windmill is setting on has some problems, we can try to protect him. But remember, he did something for an economic advantage. That all of a sudden, I don't know if I need to protect him because he's making money off of it.
All right,
But I gotta make sure that the county doesn't have a problem at the end and they shift it over to the county. If this fellow that signed this agreement and his grandkids get in trouble, I kind of enjoy that.
I don't know what it said on this solar.
In our solar, the landowner signs off on it and he's got a lien against his property for that. If the solar company pulls out and they didn't have enough to cover it, he's responsible then to finish it off. So to get the permit, he's gotta sign off on that, you know, that land will assume the responsibility and it stays with that land.
Well, the easement will stay with the land, that's for sure.
Make them think twice.
right.
Once they've signed that easement, they're really stuck. But, and he had made a comment about one of the farms had some CLP. And it almost gotta go on, and of course, you cannot do this to CLP ground. And so they're gonna have to pay back the entire CRP contract from the day they took the first dollar. They're gonna try to fight it, but there is no way that I mean, I don't think Tama County should give in. Besides, that's a federal program. They'll have to fight the federal government to keep their money.
That's still trivial compared to what this.
So, I guess that's just, you know, if this company was as honorable as they tell you. Talk to this farmer and say, now, do you have any CRP? This would be a problem. No, they aren't gonna say that. That's the problem. They don't tell you nothing. They just tell you all what
They lies.
they fed to you. So,
Yeah, yeah,
I think you got a wonderful ordinance. You gotta get it in place. Put the same teeth in the solar and hope
Wind and solar.
it gets passed and goes from here on forth. The problem I'm having in my brain today is this agreement the supervisor made should only entail the 61 turbines that's in phase one. And I'm reading stuff about phase two in this agreement. Phase two has never had a permit, never had any
That's right.
conditional permits. Oh, they're getting it into there, but I think they got some legal language in there that snuck in on the guys. It's just too bad he lost it. When it's so close to the end.
Well,
You done a heck of a good job on the solar.
the Salt Creek 2 has not been signed for an agreement. That's just coming up for the, that public hearing on September 8th.
I know, that's the reason I gotta get some comments to the supervisors, but it's not your job. I did not say that. I gotta talk to some supervisors and
You do.
find out why they've had an attitude change all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They seem to be
Dollar
doing
signs.
great. They passed the land use and everything was going great, and then all of a sudden the whole attitude changed, like, oh, we don't care if you got windmills or not, let them go. I don't know what happened to them.
They offered them $1.2 million. That's part of the problem.
And threaten a lawsuit,
And threatened a lawsuit.
apparently. I've not seen that for sure, but Mark said in the meeting that he was requesting that in writing.
All you can do is turn in your solar, get it approved. Go back and just go down the same steps. Just kind of change the word solar to wind, and there'll be a few little adjustments. And I think you can do it in half the time you
Yes.
expect.
Yeah.
Which
We're
I
hoping.
expected a lot of time doing this, and I knew this was gonna take a long time, and I really appreciate you doing it. But hopefully this next time you can go through it a lot faster, because you know what you're doing. And to get it done a lot quicker. Hopefully we can make it as of at least the day you get it signed. Can't retroactive, but that's the problem with the wind, is some of this stuff was done before. But that's nothing on your mind at all. You've done great. But let's just go forward on the other end. I keep hearing how the state's gonna take over. I don't think so.
Let's hope not.
I just don't think that we're gonna let that happen. I gotta talk to a few people. They're gonna tell me that first, that they're gonna let the state take this thing over and not let us use CRP to control these damn things. Something is wrong if that's the case.
Yes,
And also, the letters that have gone out, I asked Karen just now, she said I have to ask Laura. So I did not get one of those for the project site for phase 2. And other people in my area did not get them. So who did they go out to?
They went out to every landowner within the project boundary and every landowner that was outside the project boundary, but within their,
Distance, notification distance for the ordinance, and also dwelling landowners that were along the project line but outside the boundary, which is not spelled out as needing to get one, but I did not want to exclude people that were living along that.
So I am really close.
You are not within the boundary and you are not within 1,000 feet.
Okay.
You can still go get a map if you want. So it's not, the boundary is not extending south of the Deponda right now. And I think you're 2 miles south of Deponda. So 1,000 feet's not.
He is 1 mile, he didn't get one. He stopped and wanted to know why he didn't get it. So I didn't know, I didn't have an answer.
present boundary is Dupunda, is that
that's
correct?
the southern boundary. The northern boundary is, I think, about a mile south of E 29. Because it abuts right up to the, Salt Creek 1 project boundary.
So
Yes.
this settlement has only to do with Salt Creek 1.
The one that I wrote at the.
Yeah,
front
the one
says
that they have-
July. Yep, that
They,
was only with NextEra and Salt Creek 1. So the one that they're considering for the
Thanks,
subsequent
Bob.
public hearing is, relating to Salt Creek 2, which, as we mentioned, is not currently it has not gone through the permitting process with the Board of Adjustment. And the settlement basically stipulates that the Board of Adjustment has 0 say in if it gets approved or not.
can the Board of Adjustment hold off until we get a new ordinance put in place?
The thing is, they did submit their application before the moratorium, so, legally, even with the gray wording that they have in their moratorium about not moving forward with any development or construction, legally, I could see the argument where they would be held to the previous ordinances. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Awesome, she's not. I don't know that she has them to print. I think it might be there. You look.
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead, you keep it.
Okay. So the red boundary, the red boundary is on the outside.
Good.
Everyone that was within that boundary did get a letter. If they're renters, they likely did not, because it got sent to landowners that are on the tax roll. And then you can see there are a few dwellings that are outside the boundary that are not within like a radius of a turbine. I did send it to those, because they were very close. And then there are some that are outside the boundary, but within 1,000 feet, so they got a special letter for that too. Believe the circles on there, you see they call it a 704-foot buffer. That's the right of way buffer if they pick the maximum height of 640 feet tall.
This is the 27 that are proposed for Salt Creek. I'm assuming these are the towers, aren't they?
Where's a major?
Oh.
Resolution, whatever it is this part of what?
That's the first one, yep. So it's additional stipulations they included.
Yeah, I don't, I just.
Right here, it says will establish use within the meaning of Tama County's ordinances for all 61
This.
of its zoning certificates upon completion of a vertical erection of a wind tower
So their established use is getting the building.
at any one zoning certificate, provided the vertical erection occurs on or before September 15th, 2025.
They did get one built by them, they have a few more now, but yeah, they did get their first one built. It doesn't have to be in working order, it just. has
Oh, I
to
know,
be-
they're by me,
So.
but what? At any one zoning, but it says at any one zone is on, well, what about all the other zoning?
They have not requested an extension yet, and that settlement says they do need to still request one, but it also says that I have to grant it. No matter what they say for why they need one, so I have zero say over if one's granted or not.
Well, who was the, never mind.
That one. Before we get into that more, do you guys want, I would like you guys to pick, kind of like I did with solar, but pick one or two topics to just start with, so that we have some direction for the next meeting and people know what to comment on. Cause the last two, we've kind of been very broad in our topics. But I don't know if you're ready to pick one to dive into.
We've got setbacks to think about, we've got height restrictions to think about. What else have we got to think about?
Well, the last time we started from the back end.
Yeah,
We started from
decommissioning.
decommissioning.
What's the feeling of the board here?
Eminent domains and easy want to get knocked off, but then,
Yeah,
Yes,
some of the ones like
land use, yeah, you said there.
sound is, that, I see them all over, different decibels and different frequencies and everything like that, and we really need, I don't know where you get what is right on that.
Your sound and all that.
I can't imagine how loud these new ones are gonna be, the Vienna ones were. I mean, I was working out in the yard the other day and it was,
Here's Toledo, right here.
I don't have a meter to check it, but
She's gonna explain.
Some of the ordinances have so loud for so much time,
Right.
things like that.
well, this is for hours.
Well, right, if the wind's the right way,
oh gee,
when you hear the railroad whistles from Farrakhan.
I didn't know we were looking at either.
Back in the old days.
Let's get the topics figured out in case we.
I think that's, the sound is something that we need some research and some expert advice.
So that would be a harder one too.
Yeah.
That should be a later one.
I have a meter.
The sound.
Catch it.
Getting people.
I've done a lot of research on this in the beginning as a citizen, not in my capacity, but, going off of LMAX
We're still sending people.
instead of just decibels, dBAs, is a lot better, review if you're trying to protect hearing. It's a different way to measure the decibels. With different, and, the standards that I've seen in multiple places that recommend 40 decibels LMAX, maximum, not even an average, but a maximum.
Right.
So I've got on my, these are like my concerns, and I don't even have like the limits of my concerns except for that one, but,
That's a good start.
but yeah, I do have that on there. Infrasound, you talked about that last week. When infrasound gets past a dwelling wall, it amplifies.
Can we
Bounces off.
put in like a DNR thing as far as active eagle's nest? Are we able to do anything like that, maintenance?
DNR has not historically had a lot of restrictions on that type of thing. They might provide research, but if you wanna add in your own, like so many miles from eagle's nest, or an active eagle's nest,
There's federal regulations on it, but I don't know if that would carry over to local.
Yeah, everybody got a copy of this.
What?
They did discuss that the other
Work
night.
Yeah.
They said that
Yeah.
is being ignored.
And I have it on my computer ready to.
I know it's
go.
being
We're gonna
ignored,
look at it.
but
you're ready.
I'm ready.
What Laura said is what they said, that the federal, that the.
they pretty much do whatever they
Yeah,
wanna do anyway. We're just trying to floor
And
mats.
just go right through, like,
Cause it's been,
follow what they did.
there's eagle nests already being compromised.
Evaluate everybody reads through, decide what they want to do.
So if you want
Page
to go,
11, we start with.
was that right after definitions?
Where we at?
Page 11.
This must be the.
Yep. Right after definitions.
Suggestion is made that we start on page 11 of Worth, right, Steve?
Yes, page, it's citing and design standards, and that's what, you know, they've kind of laid out theirs. I think it's a nice template to go off of. It gives us something that they've already got in place. I think they've got more experience than about anybody around that I've seen with it.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed that this mentions specifically board of supervisors. Do you want to make that adjustment or both? Or
You know, those things again.
What are you talking about?
Where do you want
What page? Oh,
Page
I
11 on the word.
Because-
I just.
Supervisors name.
Just be down.
Get these in place, so these are kind of
I
the
don't
the templates, what we're gonna look at for next one.
have.
And then
Site design standards,
And then we'll decide. Yeah, and then we'll.
Oh, is that the one?
And we might already have.
Citing and design standards look like you're digging straight into setbacks right going up.
Yes,
Setbacks, I mean, it's all, it's right there.
Amendment, there it is, yep, I got it.
I don't have a problem with that.
Thought I got
Lighting,
it.
lighting signage, it's got all of the way the way they build it, and that's what we need to get into, I think, first.
Is that where you have protected area? and
Yeah,
setback?
From your solar, I did like the occupied residential area or whatever, however you termed it for the acreage usage. Because trespass zoning is a thing with, especially with turbines, since it's up so tall. There's a really nice graphic I can show you guys later. I definitely like the past few lines.
So is this where you want to start?
Well, don't you think, for agenda points for next time, we can go right through it and start there.
Not gonna
You read, everybody can read through this before the next meeting and have notes, whatever we need to change, whatever, like board of supervisors, I know we have to have, there's gotta be places where we'll have to remove some language and change some. It gives us at least a template to go. Setbacks, boy, that's.
Let's grab the bull by the horns and do it. Not tonight anymore, we got 7:30, but
So we'll start with citing and design standards,
page 11, I believe it is.
Yeah,
Ward 11.
on the Worth County.
page 11.
I'm here to tell you 1,600 feet isn't far.
I believe you.
It's not.
Miles.
And are
I
we
mean,
thinking,
that's what I've got, I mean.
Steve, are we thinking of cutting and pasting and putting it into ours? Or are we thinking of taking this and putting stuff into that? It's gonna make it's gonna make a little difference on what I do with the computer.
We have a lot more work to start with than you do.
I know, that's what
Maybe we should
should we,
look at Worth and decide what we're gonna put into it for Tama.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
Change
Right.
Worth.
But
What does anybody else think?
modify it. I know
you
what
need
mean.
to go
yeah,
through what the Tama is,
Yes,
that,
I know, it's only 5 pages
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
but we need to make sure we're reflective of what's in there today. Yeah,
So we just, whatever we want from the Tama County one, we can put into the Word, that we'll just have to know, but it'll be easier then.
yeah, yes,
Okay.
and the opposite,
All
yeah.
right,
The biggest carryover would be, submission requirements. That's the biggest section that you want to probably review
right,
and go through for updates out of ours.
Yeah.
And make sure it gets carried over. I don't know that anything
36.
would be
Yeah,
special
that'd be-
cars that wouldn't necessarily be in
there's
there.
not much in ours.
Yeah, 35 pages.
I was trying to be different.
I know.
Like this.
Why is the camera being so crazy?
Is they just throw
Last time
everything.
it kept cutting out also.
Anything they mess.
I am so sorry, Linda, if you can hear me.
did they have from a main amendment?
Yes, yes, I read through it. Eminent domain was in here somewhere tonight.
It probably did on plane right over and back.
Yeah, yeah.
Study that.
Okay, so citing and design standards, do we want to just stick with the one topic, since it's a pretty big topic?
If we get through that one, I think I'd be really.
We can have a really nice one. Do we want to set a meeting time tentative before we move on to settlement?
and meeting day, right?
Mhm.
What does it look like for you folks for the next?
Hearing is available on the next next Wednesday the 10th or
A week from now is the third, isn't it?
Wednesday, the 17th.
10th and 17th is available?
I'd say let's just keep the 2 weeks going, but I mean, unless you don't think that's enough time.
Then it's the 10th. You're saying the 10th would be our next possible
10th, if
being
I,
able to use the building here?
yep, Karen's available, I can get public notice in to do it by the 10th.
That works for me.
What, Rick, wait to check.
Hi, what's on the calendar on the 10th?
There are Wednesdays for the next month or two
10th,
that are open.
nothing, okay. Bye.
Good on the 10th?
How about you, Jody and
Yeah, I'm okay.
Carol? Okay.
Steve?
Good.
Good on the 10th.
I'm okay with everything until I tell you I'm not okay with it.
That's right.
Karen starts
I'm
to
okay
have
until
some more.
harvest starts, and then I'll pull out anyway, I'll just tell it. I said, once harvest, I got 2 guys I gotta work for. I'll just tell them I gotta go. Bye.
After that, we
Back in the morning.
now and then.
Yes.
I didn't check with Karen 2 weeks out, so, or 2 weeks past that, so, she did say October was a little more scheduled out for her, but we could try to have something tentative.
Or 17th, I don't care, either one, I'm open.
What about the 17th, if we went only a week? So we can get this thing hammered
That
out?
would be available the 17th.
I think there's a little, we need to be a little expedient.
You wanna check on that?
What's going on?
Wait, is it 17th is open too? Sorry, we should have
Unless you
mentioned
go the
that.
10th and the 24th.
We could do
Good, too.
10th, 17th,
How about the 17th?
because I can get that public notice in
September.
before we have our next meeting.
So we're gonna go 17th instead of the 10th?
No, we're gonna go the
Oh,
10th and the 17th.
10th and the
That's what
17th.
we're
Okay.
thinking. of.
Gotcha.
Thanks, bye.
Open?
We'll see it.
Carol, you open?
Yes, so
Yeah.
far.
I will be. I'll just,
Cause we
Just let it
put it
go
off
there.
too long, we're gonna be into harvesting.
Yeah.
Nobody-
Yeah.
That's coming.
And then we just have to hope for rain, right? Let's
Yeah.
get some rain so
We
we
can't
can get
predict
our
rain 2 weeks at a time.
Get rain, that's when you repair a combine.
That's right.
through.
Take care of the livestock.
We might have to have one meeting in the middle of harvest. Is that gonna be a problem?
We'll take it as it comes.
just tell them I gotta go.
And that portion was sound,
Is
Yeah,
this,
it won't bother me.
Yeah.
is this who's here
That's
now?
right.
I mean, that,
Well, no, that is Steven Toledo. It deals
Oh,
with
that's Steven.
63.
For those here.
And I think these are the, isn't this like?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that fast.
So, but I don't understand anything else.
On the maps.
6 o'clock, Laura?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is 63, right? Sorry, this is 63, right?
Okay, so up here is
I think on the,
Mid-Iowa.
E29,
Mid-Iowa,
and 63.
This is the top side of
Sound
Toledo.
emissions, sound.
This is Deponda.
Levels.
So you can see it zigzagging right there.
Where's the plant?
This is,
Deponda is
Right.
and zigzagging up here.
Addressing noise complaints.
This is Otter Creek Lake.
okay,
This is Otter Creek Lake. It's all that because I think.
Oh,
they
so
took
it's all,
I think this is dry.
Utilize their.
And this
Okay,
is
so-
Deer Creek over here.
all right.
And then
that's right.
Salt Creek one goes right up to that. I think the
Okay.
closest Salt Creek one turbine is like
they're up
Here.
here.
to that. That's how close
There's
they
a
are.
bunch of them up here. A mile south of E29.
So,
All
yep,
right, so this is,
that's.
so island
Mid-Iowa.
past that, okay.
Yeah.
All right, now that makes sense.
Yep.
Before we adjourn,
So do you guys get the map? Do you understand the map? Mid-Iowa, Van Wall, Toledo, Otter Creek, Deer Creek. Okay. All right, did you guys want to talk about that anymore?
before we adjourn the settle agreement, I gave each a copy. I would encourage you to go to the public hearing September 8th.
Yes,
That'll be occurring before our next meeting.
right. At 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, 9:30 in the morning, it's here.
It's
That's
here.
correct.
In here, I give you.
I hope they fill this place up.
If you can't make it,
That's a Monday, right?
that's a Monday.
Can you send comments?
Explain what's the red, what is.
Send it, it's in a Karen, she'll forward it to the supervisor.
I'll be there.
What time?
9:30.
9:30.
And letters can be sent in to you prior to that, or
I
do
would say send letters to Karen for sure. but she'll
Karen
forward
Morris?
it to this, yeah, she'll forward it to the supervisor.
That's gonna be in here.
In here. Come early to get the scene.
Yeah.
What is?
Come early to go around.
to explain the settlement agreement, Laura, it's basically what the two negotiators for the board of supervisors.
I've agreed to with the, people that own Salt Creek too.
Have they signed out?
No, that's what the public
That's
hearing
what
is.
the public hearing is about.
they're still negotiating, this is just a draft, so, but if this is where they're starting,
It doesn't look good for any authority for you or the zoning board or
board adjustment.
board of adjustment.
Or even citizens of Tama County.
And I mean, you guys probably have looked at our ordinance a lot more than a lot of other citizens have. We have, it's a very minimal ordinance, but it does still have specific things in there as far as you need to submit the single turbine model. You need to submit research around that turbine model's dimensions. And that research is used to review, to decide if you can get approved for that permit. So in their application, they had a list of 8 with an asterisk that said, we may pick any other number of turbines to pick from. Now, the thing is, if you approve 8 plus any number of turbines, they can pick whatever they want on their building permit and it technically matches the cut. Otherwise, if they pick a single model that gets reviewed with all the research, they'd have to match that single model to their building permit request. And then there are other issues with if you don't pick a model, you don't know how tall it is. If you don't pick a model, you don't know if the sound is matching. If you don't pick a model, you don't know the rotor dimension that matches like bird studies. The model was not included in their application. Also, we required an engineer certificate based off that model at the time of the application. So if they send in all the research after we approve it, there's no point because nobody's gonna review it and that's just ticking a box. The research is used by the Board of Adjustment to review if we want to approve a project, not just saying, oh yeah, we have it on file. So I don't know what the point would be of approving something and then requiring them to send that in later, because nobody will be reviewing it. If per the settlement that they do end up submitting all that before we give them their approval, they would be matching all our ordinances, so I don't know why they would be scared to go to the Board of Adjustment with that. If they're not planning to meet the ordinances exactly, I could see why they might want to try to go through the settlement agreement. Because the Board of Adjustment would have that information as well, so it wouldn't just be reviewing subjective information like the results of studies, it would be reviewing, did you send in our required request documentation? Which it does say required, it doesn't say, we hope you give it to us. It says required. Other counties, I mean, Powashik County has all those turbines. I was looking at theirs today. Theirs is almost exactly like ours as far as submission requirements. I don't know if they were required to follow them or not, because I wasn't part of that review process, but I mean, the way I figured it is if they didn't have to follow that to get their application last time, they should consider themselves lucky. Cause it'd be like if you have, I saw someone else in an LG, if you have a police chief in a small town or something, no specific small towns, strictly fictional analogy. If you have a police chief that for years has allowed people to constantly go 15, 20 miles over the speed limit and do rolling stop signs, all of a sudden that person leaves or retires and you get a new police chief and they're like, no, a stop sign means you have to stop because it's the law. You got lucky before, now you have to follow it. So it's not like setting a precedence where, oh, we've never followed the law before, so you don't have to either. This is like, the people reviewing it want you to follow the law. And then there's a section where they claim that the cost that they put into the research and the time they put into the application gives them vested rights, which basically says they took the time and the money to apply, so we have to accept it. That's the
pushing it.
interpretation of that paragraph, in my opinion.
That's pushing it a little bit, isn't it?
So I could see where the Salt Creek one, by the time, I mentioned this on Monday, by the time the supervisors came in and tried to argue the deficiencies in the application process, like I said, that previous police chief let them get away with stuff. So by the time this board came in and tried to argue that, they had already received a conditional use permit, they'd already received building permits. The judge said, yeah, you had that expectation that you were gonna get that, we're gonna give you the vested rights for it. This is a separate case where they have not received a conditional use permit, they don't have building permits. This is an initial review. And they're basically getting even more concessions than NextEra got for theirs, as far as the county looking the other way and the county not being able to follow up and make sure that the ordinances are followed during the construction process. There are a lot of other stipulations in there that I am not pleased with, but I'll let you know.
I don't see Tama County getting any advantage out of this at all.
They get the
don't get
threat of a
sued.
lawsuit dropped and they get the 1.2
Another 1.2 million?
Not so.
but not until it's completed and all contentions against them have been dropped, including like outside contentions.
So we could use the first 1.2 million to fight the second.
That's about right. They know that. Laura, we have a question.
Yes.
On this project. So I asked this of Karen and she said to ask you. So they dropped back to 27 turbines on phase 2. How tall will those be and how many were there before there were 27? You have that info?
The original was a long time ago and was not included with the application. So that they had more included in some of their studies. I don't know that number. 27 is what they applied with. They have not changed that number since I have reviewed their stuff. I don't know how tall they're gonna be because they haven't said how tall they're gonna be.
Were they able to tell us?
They just said it won't be greater than 640 feet because that's what they got the FAA approval for.
Not including the blade length?
That is base to tip,
I'm sorry?
base to tip.
At the
Extended
highest point,
to the highest point.
Highest point of the blade.
Which the ones that are building in Salt Creek 1 are slightly over 500 feet, so between 500 and 501 feet.
So this would be another 150 feet taller.
Go ahead, Bob.
How tall, or how high is Lincoln line?
That would be,
It's at the top of the tower. So are the blades 125 footers?
I don't have that information memorized, but
Maybe, I'll say like.
100 foot? I know they just put in longer ones in Vienna.
right, it depends on which model they pick, which will depend on how long the blades are.
I just met one.
But if the Tama County agrees to this agreement, we won't know what model they have or anything. They'll get to, they'll have a free reign,
It won't make any
Not
difference.
until they request
It
it.
won't make any difference if we know or not,
right?
yeah.
And if they sign this though, they really open themselves up for this happening over and over again.
Yes,
Yes.
And
Because anytime
setting a
they-
precedent.
We'll be able to say, well, you did it in.
Yep.
Exactly.
You let them do it.
And, really, if you paid attention to the last time that there was all this contention in the county was getting sued, it was because the county failed to follow the ordinances. And that's what got the people upset enough that some people submitted lawsuits against the county because the county wasn't following ordinances. So if they sign this, they open themselves up to more citizens being concerned enough to raise money to
To the county.
sue the county. If they don't sign this,
ourselves.
they've been threatened with a lawsuit against them by the company. However, in this case, they still don't have that conditional use permit yet, so I'm not sure which way a judge would go on this. Cause I know the judges have been very favorable towards wind projects, but since it's an initial,
Are we getting liberal judges or are we getting conservative judges?
I have heard from another person that we are getting judges that were appointed by governors that were pro-wind. So it doesn't matter if they're liberal or not, because, I mean, right now, Reynolds is pro-wind because of the money. So it's not liberal,
What money?
the money they get paid by all the lobbyists to get it.
That money.
All the advertising.
Not,
Oh, you mean the under the table?
Yeah.
You see
Gotcha,
advertising,
got that.
Yeah,
I figured that.
but wonderful.
everything's wonderful.
Or the federal tax dollar money that rolls in.
Well, they aren't gonna get any more federal tax dollar money.
I am just confused because I operate on this level of, I don't understand all this. I work with little kids and, you know, there's right, there's wrong, there's rules, there's laws, whatever. So what I can't understand is if, okay, so phase 1 has been sold, this is phase 2, but it's a whole new project, basically.
Let me correct you. There's no phase 1 to phase 2 anymore.
Well, that's, okay, but so this is just what,
One Salt Creek.
right. So Salt Creek 1, it was sold, it's taken care of. The Salt Creek 2 is still Salt Creek 2. It's a new project. It's not really a continuation because they haven't sold it to anybody yet. So it's a brand new project.
And they never
Brand new-
claimed anywhere in their documentation that these extra 27 turbines are required to be added to make their first project more viable. They're
Right,
not
this is just an extra thing.
Yes.
We're just gonna try and do this.
Mhm.
So if it's a new project, and again, I don't know codes, laws, ordinance, whatever, they really have to have a conditional use permit. They have to get this
For our ordinance, yes.
per the ordinance. So it's in there. We have the ordinance, it's a law.
The way this is written, it kind of sounds like this settlement approves the conditional use permit for them without getting it approved by the Board of Adjustment. That's kind of what I'm gleaning from it. They don't spell it out like that, but
She
that's,
was raising her hand.
sorry.
Because on September 2nd, which is this coming Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, I mean, because of Labor Day. I would recommend somebody be there because the following Monday, Heather has to deal with all this and Mark's gonna be in Hawaii.
So be here at the next supervisor
I
meeting.
would suggest if you wanna talk to Mark. Yes, because the next Monday,
He won't,
somehow Heather has to field all the questions when, she'll probably, I don't know if she'll be able to hold herself together, it's gonna be really hard on her. I tough on her.
I just but the conditional use permits, again, I'm all new to this. Those are given by the Board of Adjustment. That's their job.
Yes, our ordinance states that that is their jurisdiction, is providing conditional use permits. We do not have anywhere in our ordinance that says they could alternatively be given by the supervisors. I don't know if they're trying to change that. That would need to go to public hearing to change our ordinance, but I don't know what the lawyers.
I just don't, how do you bypass things?
you have a lot of money and money talks and they have big lawyers and
Yes, there's another thing I want you guys to know about.
Didn't much.
So not this week, last week, there was a second meeting with Ben, the engineer. And, thinking it was gonna be closed, most of us didn't go, but there were some of us that were there, not myself. And Salt Creek was there. And it was an open meeting that Ben did not close it. But in this row, in these seats was Salt Creek, representatives and Bob Bocoon. Why were they at Ben Delansky's, the engineers meeting? And he was, if you read the paper, Mike wrote that he clicked his pen and shook his knees the whole time. So I'm not sure if Ben, who was hired by Tammy, is working for Tammy, or if Ben is working for Salt Creek, or if Ben is working for the new county engineers. I don't know. I know this is all going online right now, everybody's listening, but I'm just asking questions, because why were they here for an engineer meeting for our roads? And you brought up roads. It's a big deal. Everything in this county right now is a big deal.
Why are the Board of Supervisors so set on selling Tama County throwing Tama County under the bus?
That would be a question to ask the supervisor.
yes, please come to the September what date?
It's the next one, it's Tuesday.
The day after Labor Day.
Yes.
Right.
Call them, their numbers are available.
I'll go, I'll face
They
to
will
face.
not, they have to call back. Tell them you want them to call back. Otherwise they usually don't.
Backfire.
So we have our next two meetings planned.
Yes.
Topics for the next meeting.
Yeah.
The minutes to do public notice before we have our next meeting, do we have a topic for the 17th? That if we get through all of the, first section, what do we want to move on to? Going to have that posted.
I don't know if we'll get that far, but
I don't think we get through that other, that's.
But in 2 weeks, if we get, you think that'll take less than?
I don't know if you've seen this, you know,
Yeah.
county conservation.
It's setbacks and sound and all the other.
Eminent domain go into that one?
No, there's no eminent domain in that one.
But, okay, it's in a different part, but that's, you do have, okay.
Okay, so I might just throw a second topic in just in case, and if we don't get to it, then we'll just amend the agenda to say.
Continuing discussion on.
Yep,
Eminent domain,
Yeah.
and, okay, because you said eminent domain not in that minimum.
I would entertain, if you're ready, Laura, you
Sure.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move, we adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Sorry, Carol second, who was the original? Who said?
Steve,
Steve.
meeting is adjourned.
No, I think every time you say is there discussion, I think about, we have, I always think about our meeting, and I'm always looking at the girls that have questions.